Hey everyone, it's Mike Barletta here, back with another video. This time we're going to be discussing 92L, a tropical invest that's currently making its way over to the Caribbean, the Lesser Antilles, the forecast implications, everything, possible impacts, just a wide range of things. So before we get started, if you guys can make sure to like and subscribe, it really helps me out. I put a lot of work into these videos. Thank you so much, and let's get right into it. So currently, the Invest 92L is located 4647 west and about 1213 north, so right where you see the X. The National Hurricane Center is giving it an 80% chance of developing over the next 5 days and a 70% chance of development over the next 24 to 48 hours. So very high odds. I'll get into why those have gone down. They were at 90 and 80%, now down at 80 and 70%. Some of the models have backed off. Regardless, we expect this wave to track to the northwest, possibly coming close to some of the Lesser Antilles when it develops. Regardless, should be a tropical system by then, probably a depression or a tropical storm as it makes a close pass. So all these islands within this red definitely need to pay attention to this system specifically. So next up here is the IR satellite, courtesy of GOES 16, was down a little bit yesterday. Now thankfully we have it back. You could see there's a very well-defined swirl in here, as evident through the IR scans over the last few hours. There is a well-defined swirl. The problem is there just isn't a whole lot of convection. It looks like popcorn. There's a little bit of convection everywhere, but it's not really able to consolidate at all, especially around that center. When we're looking for deepening tropical cyclones, you're looking for some consolidation of the convection and those colder cloud tops around that center. Something we just haven't seen today. We are hoping to get a little bit of it today. We were expecting to get a little bit of it today, and I'll get into why that hasn't particularly happened here. But just a note, there is a very large, broad circulation. Usually you don't see these in invests. Usually there's not much circulation at all, but this one definitely has one. So once we start popping convection near the center, um, this will definitely be a candidate to quickly go to a tropical depression and or a tropical storm. Now the reason for a lot of this lack of development, you could see 92L is located about here, that X that I just drew, and we have a lot of these red and orange and yellow colors all in here. This is actually dust from the Saharan desert that's impacting this system. Now we weren't sure exactly how much of a role this was going to play, but since this system, you could see the centers around here, there just has not been a whole lot of convection, especially near the center of the system, and a lot of that has to do with the very dry environment, especially with these storms that have very large, broad circulations. It's easier for them to begin to inhale some of this Saharan dust, and it kind of chokes off the system from producing more of those colder cloud tops with a lot of humidity and rain and moist environments. That is just not the case right now with this system. Now we're expecting this to relax, possibly move north over the next couple of days, let this get better organized, but for right now that is the main reason that the development odds have dropped, even just a little bit, but they have dropped. So what happens a lot of the time with these very broad circulations, they ingest a lot of Saharan dust, and it's very difficult for them to begin to develop. But we're expecting this dust to move north over the next couple days, possibly give this system a chance to breathe, and that's when we're really expecting some development out of this. Now, another inhibiting factor, you could see this is right around where 92L is, where I marked that X. This is a map of the current wind shear, so currently not a whole lot of wind shear exactly where 92L is located. However, we do have a lot of wind shear just to the north and west, which is where this is tracking. So the combination of wind shear that's outlined in red and pink to the north, west, and southeast of this system is making it a little difficult to breathe. Sometimes wind shear can be a good thing, especially on the north or south or east and west of the system, as long as it's not directly over it, to kind of help with outflow of the system, let the system breathe a little bit. But here it's kind of putting a little squeeze play on this system, and is kind of forcing it into a smaller location, and especially since we have such a large broad circulation, this is not the best conditions for development for this system. As of right now, we expect this shear to begin to relax over the next couple of days, along with the Saharan dust, which is why there's still such high odds for development, but it's something we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on, especially if this shear relaxes a little less than we expect it to, because even 20, 25, 30 knots of wind is really just not conductive for a system, especially one that's just developing. Now, lastly, we're getting into some of the models here. This is the European EPS. So currently, this is the position of 92L in that pink. And we're expecting a track west northwest over the coming days, some gradual strengthening, nothing too rapid. And then the big question mark is what happens when we get to about this point, about in between 60 and 65 west. That's really the big question. Does this system go into Puerto Rico and Hispaniola and kind of get shredded up or die out? Or do we track a little further north? As you could see, some of these members a little stronger than the members to the south, in between 40 and 50 knots. And then if we do track to the north, where exactly does this system go once it reaches in the Bahamas, and what is the exact strength? Those are all questions we unfortunately don't have the answer to and probably won't have the answer to for a little while, but we could see some of these members bringing it right into Florida, trying to bring it up the coast. And if a strengthening system is prevalent in the Bahamas, that's something we're obviously going to really have to watch for implications all along the eastern seaboard. There are some members that try and bring this into the Gulf, but not a whole lot of support for that. Most of them kill it over Hispaniola, which is a little bit different of a scenario than we were expecting over the last couple days. The EPS were really the first models that were on top of this system developing, and a lot of them, especially a day or two ago, had a really strong system, possibly major hurricane, somewhere within this area, taking a track a little further north. So with the EPS backing off, it gives us a little less confidence on exactly what's going to happen with this system. But as we know, the EPS is not the only model that we listen to. That's just one suite of the European. There's a bunch of different ones, the United Kingdom model, the United States model, the Canadian, that we're going to pay attention to and give a little bit of weight to each of them. So speaking about that, looking at the GFS ensembles, we could see a slightly different story being told compared to the European. They take it a little further north, as I stated that the European ensembles did before, and really strengthen the storm off the coast of North Carolina. Most members have a 60 to 70 knot storm, which is near or at hurricane strength, coming up the coast. Some members bring it up the coast, some members take it out, but basically really just looking at a wide range of possibilities here. This was just a quick update video to kind of show you around the models what exactly we're looking at, what exactly we're looking for over the next couple days for strengthening. If this storm does begin to strengthen over the next couple days, a little more than these models have it, expect to track further north, and that's when the United States is going to have a little more of a threat. If the current trends are true and we see a track dipping a little further south, going right into Hispaniola and Cuba, the United States should be able to stay safe from this one. But right now, it's kind of a battle between the European ensembles and the GFS. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, make sure to go follow my Twitter and my Facebook page at Mike B. Weather. That's where I post a lot more frequent updates. Don't go as in depth, but a lot more frequent updates there for things like the latest model runs, the latest European, everything like that can be found on my Twitter. You guys have a good one. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be back soon with some more content updates on this system and any other possible systems that begin to develop.